everyone, it's Sevi. It's been requested for so long, but I finally got around to taking a deeper look and testing out Keqing more in her Dendro buffed era. Keqing already had a lot of guides pre-Dendro release, so in this video I want to focus on Keqing's new Aggravate playstyle, especially since this created a bigger buzz on how Keqing is now better than ever, and I agree. I'm going to talk about why I think she's great, my build tips, and how to create effective Aggravate teams. Then at the end, I'll showcase some team rotations to give you some ideas on how to play your Keqing teams. So there are a couple of reasons why I think Keqing's getting a lot of attention now with her Dendro buff. First, if we take Keqing in the context as one of the standard banner 5-star characters, I think that out of all of them, she's the one that enjoys the most benefits with the new reactions. And it's not just a minor boost, her Aggravate teams can output some really good damage. Keqing's also able to apply Electro relatively fast, and that's of course what Aggravate wants. It's also nice that her Aggravate teams are not as reliant on attack buffers Bennett or Sarah. Bennett is already in high demand on other teams, and Sarah is a more niche unit that many players won't necessarily want or have. But this time, we already get 2 free Dendro units that are completely enough to set up Keqing's Aggravate teams. And on the topic of how it feels to play her teams, I've personally enjoyed the experience. These are teams with quick rotations and fast-paced gameplay, and building a smooth team rotation around her with team abilities that line up so well can feel very satisfying when you execute them perfectly. So let's start with some build tips. Keqing's build recommendations from pre-Dendro times are pretty much still applicable here, but a significant build change is that with Aggravate, EM now has a more impactful contribution to her damage. If EM stats weren't as desirable before on her old teams, getting EM stats now won't feel like a waste. That doesn't mean you should stack triple EM main stats, as Aggravate damage still scales with damage bonuses and crit. Simply getting some EM substat rolls is already great, but there's also room for a high substat EM stance, especially if your team is providing Keqing with a bunch of attack buffs already. The most accessible sets are 2-piece combos of Thundering Fury, attack percent, and EM sets. If you're mixing sets, make sure you're getting the best substats possible, and with high enough substats you could even match or surpass 4-piece sets. For full sets though, Thunder Soother and Thundering Fury will be your top choices as they complement the Aggravate playstyle really well. Thunder Soother's 4-piece damage bonus effect will have really high uptime, leading to a straight-up damage increase. On the other hand, Thundering Fury is amazing for the damage bonus, reaction bonus, and the skill cooldown reduction. On Keqing, it allowed me to spam her skill more quickly, which meant faster electro application and faster particle generation. And it let me rely less on her charge attacks and having to sprint for her on-field time, which also avoided stamina drain issues. The good news is both these sets are now available in the Artifact Strongbox aside from their domain, but which one should you get? When it comes to farming efficiency, aiming for Thundering Fury is more advisable in my opinion. Thundering Fury can be broken up into 2-piece combos to be used by different characters paired with another 2-piece set with excellent substats. At least the pieces will still be useful outside of their 4-piece effect, unlike Thunder Soother, which strictly needs the full set. Also, I really enjoy the fun gameplay of the skill cooldown reduction that Thundering Fury offers, not just for Keqing but on other units too. So all in all, I think the TF set has better value. On the topic of energy recharge, Keqing also has very low ER needs. On the teams I've run her with, she had a consistent 120% ER, and it's a generally safe range even against bosses. She also has an A4 passive where she gets 15% crit rate and 15% ER by using her burst, so take those into account as well. As for weapon choices, they're very straightforward as pre-Dendro recommendations are still valid. If you need an F2P friendly weapon, the sword from Kazuha's story quest or a Blackcliff longsword are your best options, but I personally would rather not spend the star glitter and just go with Kazuha's sword until a better choice comes along. If you manage to get a Lion's Roar, it's going to be one of her best 4-star weapon options. Since the Electro Aura on the enemy is almost always maintained with an Aggravate team, its damage bonus stays active as well. There's also the Battle Pass weapon, the Black Sword. The crit rate will be helpful for balancing her crit ratio, and it provides a bit of healing utility too. Any DPS 5-star sword will do if you have one. If you have the Mist Splitter or Jade Cutter, then you have her top choices already. Now let's get into the team building discussion, which is the most important aspect of maximizing Keqing's potential. First, make up the core members, Keqing, and the Denjo unit. The Denjo teammate will either be Denjo Traveler or Kole. Their cooldowns will line up well with Keqing's team rotations, though there are situations where Kole is actually more preferred, specifically if you have a team that accommodates a 15-second rotation like with Kazuha or Kuki. Their build will ideally be a Noblesse or Instructor set, as the Deepwood set does nothing for electro damage.